Looks like Austin Trout's on. What's up, champ?
What's
Austin,
up?
what's
Yeah.
going on, my friend? How are you? Good morning, man.
Grand Rising. I'm good. How
All
y'all
right.
doing?
Oh, we're great. Doing what we love,
Yes.
man, which is talk about you guys. And I'm excited to talk to you because there's so many rumors circulating, and I'm glad you took the time to come on the show. Even though you probably can't answer them all, you're still here to allow us to ask you, is this Amir Khan fight going down with you, man? Because not only did I find it on Instagram, but you kind of like commented at the bottom, and you're putting all praise to God. So I'm assuming that you are hoping, fingers crossed, that you get this.
Yeah, honestly, when you sent me that was the first time I saw that. Now, I've been calling around trying to get something bubbling, and Amir Khan is a name that we've reached out to. But to be 100% honest, Khan's team ain't never really reached back. So I honestly, I think it's just rumors. I don't know if there's anything substantial to the poster. I pray it comes through because, to be honest, when I found out about the Cotto fight, it was kind of the same way. It was like, hey, yo, you got the Cotto fight for real? Congratulations. Like, what? Hold on, let me call somebody. And then, the Al call later was like, yeah, you got the Cotto fight. So I'm hoping it's a repeat of something like that, and there's some substance to it. But as far as I know, I don't think it, we haven't been in no serious talks.
When's the last time you talked to Sylvia?
Man,
Been a minute?
it's been a little while. When her father passed, I reached out, giving my, condolences.
Okay. So the reason I asked is because, you posted back in March 1st a screenshot of you and Broner, got a lot of traction on your social media, and I think that's a perfect fight. I mean, and he's like on social media begging for another opportunity. He doesn't want to be on a standstill. And I want to see you get to welterweight. I still want the Crawford fight. He still doesn't have an opponent on his resume as accomplished as you. I still believe you can get that before you retire, but we got to get that done.
I know you can do it, man. You got the.
I do think you can do it, man. I think you can
I
get
can
it.
do it.
Listen, not Pacquiao, not Earl. Who else is out there that has the name to draw, Exactly. Your hand is raised. I feel the same way.
No, I would love the Crawford fight, and I know there's a lot of talks about him and Manny Pacquiao about the fight. But listen, if that don't happen, I could be a left-hander to jump right in that slot. So I'm ready. I'm training. I'm in shape. You know what I mean? Weight's good. I can make 47 within a matter of weeks right now.
Now, you do have something cooking, or is that another false announcement? Because I follow ring announcer Jones, and he posted something on his social media that he'll be calling one of your fights April 24th.
Nah, false. That's that fight card that was put together by Charles Russo. I don't know if you know that name. Mm-hmm. You look him up. But when they reached out because they're doing this boxer and MMA union deal, which sounds like a good idea. We've always been like, yo, we could get a boxers union and we could all come together, get taken care of. But the problem with the boxing union as of right now is that ain't nobody really doing nothing with it. He's put together some cards in the name of a boxing union, but these cards haven't came into fruition. And this card is no different. They told me months ago. They was like, yeah, we want to throw this card together. I was like, all right, cool. Just to keep myself protected, I'm gonna need an advance. You know what I mean? It's just not even extra money, just some of the money you're gonna
a sign of good faith.
Yeah. And that never happened, but I started seeing my name on some things, so I was like, hey, look, my part's not paid. You have to take that down. So we're not fighting. They haven't gotten what I've asked for. And even the matchmaker's like, I don't know about this one, man. So yeah, I'm gonna have to tell him take that down. Stop using my name.
So what's the status with you and Impact Network and Steve Marcano? Is that 3-fight deal done? Because I know you've gotten 249-pound fights so far, right? Or does he still owe you one, or did you guys part?
So he only did one. That other fight I got that fight.
Okay.
That was me. As far as Impact goes, you know, I don't think they're doing anything, let alone doing anything with me. You know, I have no ill feelings. I just, you know, don't like being jerked around and having my name used to propel
their platform.
Yeah, to propel your platform. And I believed in it. I believed it could have been something, but they didn't do nothing with it. You know what I mean? I think my fight was probably they had a Lou DiBella fight, but my fight was probably one of the last fights that they, as far as Impact, ran. So, you know, again, no ill feelings, just it ain't what it is.
So, I mean, so we had Castillo Clayton on the show this past week, and, you know, he's a welterweight. I don't know if you watched this fight with Sergey Lipinets, who just now lost to Jaron Ennis. He's a free agent, Austin. He's a free agent, exactly. So he said he's more than willing to fight you. He feels like he's in the same predicament. He can't get these fights. He's kind of working with PBC, he said. As you can see, he got the Lipinets fights, and they've offered his services to other PBC fighters that have turned it down. He said, Sean specifically said, no, but I get Sean at this age and time. He ain't trying to look back. I mean, but you are trying to make a name for yourself at welterweight. That's a top 10 welterweight. Anybody you think you can call, not that I want you to put their name out there, but like, do you think you can call someone that can facilitate this fight? Is this a fight that you think can happen? Because, you know, boxing likes to say, well, if the two fighters agree, we got to fight. I mean, that man is agreed in theory, and he seems hungry enough. Obviously, you would be the biggest name on Castillo Clayton's resume as well, especially being from Canada. So for him, he's all in. On your end, obviously, he's not the biggest name, not what you're looking for at 47, but in order to get what you want, you have to prove to people that you can get through him. So is this something we can do, or am I just fantasizing, man?
Nah, this is something that definitely can be done, or we can do. If, you know, they're like, look, if two fighters agree to fight, then it should be made, and it should be that way. But then you have to figure out, well, who's going to pay for it, though? Because, you know, Clayton, I'm sure he wants to get a decent paycheck. I for sure want to get a decent paycheck. I ain't never been greedy. I just want to get paid for my time. So, you know, if we could find somebody to give us, you know, some change to get that scrap going, that'd be great.
I gotta look after my investment.
I mean, how's the relationship with Espinoza? When's the last time you talked to Espinoza or Chris de Blasio over there? Like anybody? Because, I mean, you know, Lipinets was over there.
My relationship is good. You know, I never left on any bad terms. You know, I don't talk to them much, but I don't think it'd be anything to have, you know, Bob Spagnuolo reach out, or even reach out, you know, myself. But again,
wait. Say that name again. Who you got working on your behalf? Bob, you said?
Bob Spagnuolo. That was my old manager. We just, you know, we still do some business together.
Okay.
You know, he always tries to help me. When he gave me my release letter, I swear, you know, I felt like he left me alone for a little bit. I was alone in this game, but he's back helping me out on some things.
On paper or just like a working relationship?
Just out of love. Yeah.
Beautiful. Listen, free agency, that's important. That's why I'm bringing up the Castillo thing, because, you know, there's no promoters to block that, right? You know, and both of you guys have, you know, previous or working relationships with Showtime, and I'm hoping that can happen for you, because I don't want to see you get a welterweight opportunity when it's already too late. Like, they made you stick around at welterweight for so long, and now, you know, you finally get that shot, and it's like, oh, Trout got old overnight. I want you to get a shot, like, because, like, you were competitive in all your fights, even both those Charlo fights. Like, people don't really, I don't know what they see, but you were a tough fight for the both of them, and I think that the common thing in all your fights is maybe you didn't belong at 54. It just sucks that you're trying to get the 47 at this age, but how old do you feel, Austin?
Man, I feel like I'm 26, bro.
Because we were talking about age, man. We were talking about age, and Terrence Crawford is 33. Jaron Boots just got a win Saturday night. He's what, 23? And we're saying, like, will Crawford give a guy 10 years younger an opportunity? And how do you feel about that? Obviously, Ennis is another person that Showtime is very high on, and he's in need of opponents. And now, after Saturday night's statement, I mean...
Yeah, Ennis is the truth. Boots is no joke. He's a junior middleweight size frame body with the reach, but he got speed like a junior welterweight. He got power like a middleweight. It's definitely a problem. I ain't never been scared of nobody. So if they make that money fight right, I'll take that fight. But I definitely gonna need to get paid for that one.
So that's the thing. I know I told you to jump in, my friend. Give me 1 second. See, that's the thing, though, right?
Do your thing.
So because of the danger in that fight, you're like, they're gonna need to pay me. So then that makes it a bigger fight than what he is, right? Because to us, he's that new up and coming guy, but has he bubbled enough to sell the tickets? Like, are they gonna be able to give y'all the money? Is there a budget to make that fight? Like, is Austin's number realistic? Because again, he's he just main evented. It's just, I mean, is the money there? Is what I'm trying to, you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say, Austin? Stop
I know what you're saying. And honestly, maybe not. Maybe the money ain't there yet. But I'm not, like I said, I ain't never been no greedy cat to ever outprice myself. I always just kind of looked at what's fair. Now, Boots Ennis, he's gonna be a world champion. So, like, do you want him to get that title off of my name? Well, you're gonna have to pay for that. Or do you want to let him get that title and then, use my name to propel forward? Still, you're going to have to pay for that. Either way, I put in a lot of work in this game, in my opinion. And I know that they were trying to get me to be a gatekeeper for a long time. And that's not the direction I'm trying to do at this age, at this point in my career. But I'll do it if I have to get to where I need to be. Feel me?
Definitely.
So Ennis is definitely going to be a problem for the welterweight division, but he's just a man. At the end of the day, he got to put his legs on one. I mean, he got to put his pants on one leg at a time. You know what I'm saying?
But for you, do you really think he could beat you? I mean, again, I'm no fighter, and I just started. I just started sparring like 4 years ago, but like you've been in there with Miguel Cotto, both Charlos. Like, is a kid whose biggest name, Sergey Lipinets, who's really 140, really gonna beat a 154-pounder? Or is the 35? Because again, B-Hop did it past 35. Floyd did it.
I don't think anybody can beat me when I'm active and I'm on my ish like I am right now. I don't think anybody can beat me, not even Ennis. And I think, I saw a lot of things that Lipinets was able to do to Ennis that I felt like he shouldn't have been able to touch him so easily because Ennis got the superior skills, defense, and all that. And Lipinets to catch him with a whole bunch of shit. So, there's some holes in this game, and if we're gonna get that, it'd be better to do it now than later, before he tightens all that up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, that's I think it's a realistic opportunity for you again, right? Like, Ennis has some sort of legal issues, right? I mean, Jake Donovan tweeted out yesterday, I believe. Jake Donovan from Boxing Scene says, curious what level of opposition PBC will continue to feed, choice of words, an unsigned Boots Ennis until his lawsuit is settled. He's ready for a title shot, though. I'd be shocked if that's next. With that, I'd say a realistic option is the winner of Abel Ramos, Omar Figueroa. Look, if it's Omar for Ennis, that's a home run, right? You got a young Mexican, only lost once to Jamal James. He's big in San Antonio area, and it's a black versus a Mexican. I mean, it's the Mayweather blueprint, right? Follow the money print. So why not take that? But again, I still feel your name holds more weight than most of those options that are out there.
I'm a tougher fight too. I'm a tougher fight than Omar for
Oh
sure.
yeah. I mean, Omar's also a junior welterweight. Actually started at 135, moving up. So it would be an easy. It's the matchup he needs, though. To be honest with you, it'll be like all these punches. It'll be a nice television fight. But yeah, those are like his options. So I think that if you put it out to the universe where it can get to their ears, you are a sexier name. Like if I'm a fighter, who do I want? Omar or Austin, who beat Miguel Cotto and faced both the Charlo brothers? I want to fight Austin Trout. More people seen Austin Trout. More people know Austin Trout. Like Omar's cool.
Facts.
Omar's cool to build my brand and to build me to the Mexican fan base, but to propel me in the eyes of the casual, I need that Trout name. And again, you need that Ennis name if you want Earl and Crawford to take you serious. Unless I don't know, why you never call Bob yourself, man? I think he's thirsty for a fight. Crawford contract is up in October.
I've had some people reach out, and Bob was interested, especially after that whole thing with Bob was like, I can't promote Crawford.
Yeah.
That was foul on Bob's part, in my opinion, too, though. But after that, he was throwing some interest, like, hey, we might be able to get this Trout fight going. But then I guess the Pacquiao negotiation started. And Trout had to take the back seat to that negotiation, which is fine. But we did reach out. We've reached out to Top Rank. We know, like, look, Crawford ain't got no opponent, and he needs a legit name. You know what I'm saying? Mean Machine wasn't cutting it.
Yo, also another free agent. Yo, start taking the ball. Do you know Justin Biggs?
Nah, I don't know that.
Brooklyn Tour. All right, I'm going to tag you and stuff. They got their own network, black-owned. I mean, I know you kind of went and did the whole black-owned network, and it ain't work out so well. But, like, this is...
You got to get the right one. That one's the right network.
You just got to get the right one, man. That's it. Justin Big has his own app. It's called the BPE Network. And, they put on fights, Actually, Cassius Chaney fought on one of their fights. Evan Holyfield fought on one of their fights. Willie Monroe commentated one of their fights. We commentated one of their fights. And, he's doing his thing. I don't know that the budget is there, but he can definitely keep you moving, right?
Hey, man, listen, like I said, I'm just trying to stay active.
Exactly.
Until the money comes. So, activity is key.
I'm going to send you his info, man, because I believe that you just need to continue to get these welterweight fights. See, first it was a thing like, oh, Trout could fight Crawford. It's like, man, he ain't even no welterweight. Let him make welterweight. So you really need to make welterweight. I know 149 is basically telling them I can make welterweight, but maybe they not fighting you because you ain't get a legit welterweight fight. So we need that one legit welterweight fight where it's like, wow, he's really here. As far as power, though, how have you been feeling that welterweight? And how do you think that power would be versus some of the, elite level welterweights?
The power feels good. I'm moving some of these young little boys at welterweight. I've always been able to keep a motherfucker off me. At welterweight, I feel like it should be able to sting a little more. But just to keep it a buck, these welterweights are as big as the junior middleweights. It's just that the junior middleweights are as big as light heavyweights. So I'm just going to fight somebody my size, instead of being a weight bully. Yeah. I'm just going to fight somebody my size.
Now, how important is welterweight for you? Let me give you a scenario. Obviously, Danny Garcia just did an interview saying, I'm going to go up to 54. Tony Harrison says, I love Danny at 40. I love him at 47. He's actually one of Danny's biggest fans, but at 54, he's little Danny. Would you turn around and drop your welterweight aspirations if they called you for Danny?
Absolutely. In fact, I was going down to welterweight because one of the first names I wanted was Danny Garcia. I was like, man, if I get to welterweight, Danny Garcia, that's a big name. I'm not saying an easy fight, but I feel like my style would give him problems. So yeah, absolutely. I would fight 54 for the right fight too. I'll just make it 147 to open up better options.
Mm-hmm. Now, Have you gotten a call from Erickson Lubin's team? Or obviously you guys probably have the same team because of Al, but I mean like, and a call for that fight, because they seem to say that no 154-pounder wants to fight him, like they can't get a fight, you know what I mean? So has that fight ever been offered to you, Lubin?
It was a couple years ago. Right, it was like right after he lost to Jamel, and then I got the Charlo fight, and then it was after I lost to Charlo, I think they was calling out. I was a little bit pissed off about the loss. So I was like, not now, Lubin. I gotta figure out what I'm doing in my life, man. But I haven't had no nothing since then, since like 2018.
Why do you think your career has kind of stand still a little bit? Like you used to be, I feel like, I don't know if it's safe to say, but it was like one of Al's guys. How you get all these top name Al Heyman fighters plus the Canelo fight, and now it's like, damn, can we, like, if you got a welterweight dream, why can't you achieve that? Like, I mean, haven't you done enough where like, damn, they could throw you this, help you further this part of your career? I'm kind of tight, honestly, man. It's been a minute since you've been in the right type of fight.
You're right, and I can't tell you why. Just that things ain't all sweet over the PBC side, I guess, or they just don't love me like they used to. I don't know.
And what about Dazn? I mean, I hear Jesse Vargas trying to move to 54.
I know, and we've been trying to get something like that. Jesse Vargas, Josecito Lopez, you know, those are the types of fights that we would love to get our foot into the welterweight door.
Well, Jesse's moving up though, Trout.
I know he's moving up, and I'll go to 54. That's fine. That's the name I was looking for. And we're asking for those fights, but we even reached out to Eddie Hearn. Was like, look, Trout's at 47. You got any options? Eddie said he's got some options for me, but never came back.
Yo, you know what? What about now that Conor Ben just starting to bubble? Did you see his fight Saturday versus he knocked out him?
Samuel Vargas, man.
I didn't like that stoppage. I'm gonna be real. Like, he took some big right hands. He
should have given him an 8 count.
At least. Doomy, you know your camera's off, right? That's why I haven't had you on screen. You got me.
And no standing 8 count, but go ahead.
They didn't give him no standing 8, but what you think of Conor Ben's son, what you think of Conor Ben, the son of Nigel Ben?
No, he's a good fighter, man. He's definitely got a lot of potential. I'll be down to go ahead and teach him a lesson because he's not tightened up yet. And
would you go over there though? Because obviously they're building him over there.
Yeah, I'll go over there. Like I've been saying, I'm trying to get back to my whole travel-ish. I'll go in the backyards, do what I gotta do.
I wonder if Dazn would be interested in that fight being in America, as they're a U.S. broadcaster, and you're a big. I mean, you've been in the ring with Canelo. That should mean something to these networks.
It should definitely mean something, you know. But again, you're only as good as your last victory, so we need to go ahead and get another good win that they can remember me.
Yep, that was gonna be my next question. Like, you know, I mean, I know you mentioned a bunch of names. Like, who was that name from Mr. Trout himself that would make him feel like, yeah, that's the name I got to, you know what I'm saying, to start the fire back again in other people's minds?
Well, like I said, that Jesse Vargas would be a perfect fight. And again, Josecito Lopez, these are all, they're not the top tier name guys, but they're still good names that, you know, a decent win over them will get me back in the talks.
What do you think about this guy? I don't know if this guy's, you know, made it, but my chat keeps bringing his name up. And I've watched his fights. They're fan friendly. I don't think he's on your level at all.
Not even close.
But Ched Cheeseman, have you heard of him?
Cheeseman.
Nah, all right. Ted Cheeseman is a name that Eddie might offer you. He's a 154-pound domestic fighter that is definitely got the people behind him, but he's got a few losses. I think he lost to the dude Boo Boo's gonna fight, right, guys? Did he lose to Liam?
Yeah, he lost to him, man.
He lost to Liam Williams, I believe, you know. But I mean, look, it's our UK audience saying, Cheeseman. If they pay you, they pay you, man.
I'll go across the pond. We could get this Cheeseman fight going. I need to get active. Yeah.
real, man. I want to see you acting, and I don't want to see you jump right into a Crawford or any big name without like a proper tune-up. You know what I'm saying? I want you to have the right opportunity, or be ready when you take that opportunity. But look, we got some questions from the people. Francis, do you have anything? I know I hogged Austin today, but it's been a minute since we last interviewed him.
I'll ask him on the back end after the people get their question out.
Yeah, he lost to Scott Fitzgerald and Sergio Garcia.
Yeah, Sergio's that dude from Spain. We never seen him after that, right? I bet you they bring him back now for oh well, that would be a good rematch. But anyway, King Amin in Essex, New Jersey says, peace, champ. Austin, no doubt Trout is a name that has so much credibility over the last 10 years. Even as you work your way down to 147, my question is, which fight or fighters gave you the idea that you'd be able to be successful at welterweight? Whose scalp do you need before it's all said and done?
So after I fought, really when I fought Hurd, I was like, man, these cats are too big, because it went Jamal Charlo, then I fought Hurd, then I fought Jamel Charlo. 3, very big junior middleweights. And it was after that third one, I was like, man, they coming down from, and I saw Hurd in between the fight too, and I was like, bro, this cat is at least 225.
Wow.
Damn. Yo, he was sparring with F.A. over there in Houston.
Yo, homie was at least 225. And I know Jamal went up to middleweight, but homie was at least walking around 195. And so I was like, look, these guys are coming down from 200 plus to make 54.
Yes.
And if they can do that, then I should be able to come down from the 180 something pounds that I get up to 147. And then it really, when I was in camp fighting, getting ready to fight Gaucher, and I seen Spence. Spence was in the gym, and he was in between fights. And homie looked like he was at least goddamn 190 something pounds. You know what I mean? My size, my weight, my frame. So I'm like, look, this joker's getting down to 47. Then all I need is a little more discipline, and I can make it.
Yeah.
These cats making it, I can make it, and that'll make it, in a sense, for me, a little more fair, because I'm not fighting these heavyweights. I'll be fighting, some more of a middleweight, welterweight type of style body. So that was what made me decide to attempt it. And I don't want to leave the game talking about, well, what if? I want to do it, so that there's no regret or no thoughts about having it. And what scalp do I need before it's all said and done? I would love to get all those names that you mentioned. Give me a Thurman. Thurman needs a fight. Give me a Garcia. Give me a Broner. Give me a Crawford. Give me a Spence. Any one of these guys would help me feel accomplished, in the sense that I'm like, all right, I'm good. I did enough for now.
Woo! Let's go, champ.
Why do
you feel me?
Why do you think you would do better than Porter, right? Like, cause like Porter's style is like, yo, all in your face, make it ugly, punches nonstop, and Earl handled that. Like, what would Trout do differently? And I know styles make fights, and you don't got a Porter style, but what is it that Trout would do different to an Earl Spence?
I'll be working smarter, not harder.
I mean, that jab looks serious, Trout. I mean, he put that on Mikey all night and on Porter all night.
My jab is serious too.
Danny,
I got a serious jab, and being two left-handed, it's like it's gonna be a battle of jabs, and I think I'm very confident I'll beat that jab. That my jab will win that fight.
Actually, I meant Danny. You're right, Francis. In the Porter fight,
you put it on Mikey too.
No. I said Mikey, but I meant Danny when I said Porter, because on Porter fight he fought Porter's fight. And what about Crawford? Do you think you being a natural southpaw and him switching to southpaw, there's some tricks you can still teach him? Or which one's the tougher fight for you? Is Crawford the trickier guy to I guess crack the code?
Crawford would be the harder fighter to figure out, if that makes sense. To get in the rhythm or to get the beat. Spence would just be a harder fight. It's not even about figuring him out. He's just jab, left hand, jab, left hand. But he brings it. He comes and he's gonna walk you down. He's gonna try to beat you up.
Yeah.
Not saying that Crawford doesn't have that mean streak, just tries to fuck you up, because he does. But it takes him a while to get into it. And if I could get into the lead, into the rhythm, he may never catch it.
Let me ask you.
So I'm saying Crawford's harder to figure out. Spence would just be a harder fight.
Why do people think that Spence is like the more physically imposing dude, but it's Crawford that has like a 9-fight knockout streak?
Again, I think you just gotta look at who they've been fighting. Spence has the better resume. Crawford, he's been knocking people out, but those people were mixed with who? And okay,
come on, preach, Austin. Come on, preach.
Nah. But listen, but look, I'm with you. And
I got an offer. Hold on, Ness. Come on, man. I got for Austin, man. He preaching right now, man.
I'm just saying, I'm with you. Like, I'm obviously one of those guys that questions the opposition of Crawford, but I have to ask you, can you stop everybody he stopped? At least that last 9, them some names. I mean, not names, but they're like Mean Machine. I think Mean Machine made a name for himself with that Crawford fight. I don't know how they cut him. I can't believe they cut him.
Crawford hurt a little bit in there.
Yeah, I can't believe they cut him.
The problem with Mean Machine is that that's not his name. Whatever his name is,
Kavaliauskas.
Yeah, there you go.
Just Kavaliauskas.
Yeah, see, and so really that wasn't even a good fight for Crawford, because it's like, who? And then he gave him a little bit of problem, but Crawford ended up stepping up and stopping. Again, I think it's just the opposition. I think Spence would have stopped every one of those people that Crawford stopped.
Would you have stopped every last one of them dudes? That's Jeff Horn. You would have stopped Jeff Horn.
I was trying to get to Australia to go stop Jeff Horn. But Crawford beat me to it.
Oh, so you was trying to get him when he was undefeated. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about Benavidez though? People like that fight. They felt like he was a tall welterweight, strong Mexican style.
Coming up to 140.
So you think because he was coming up, you'd have stopped him?
Oh yeah. He's coming up 140. I'm coming from 154. You know what I mean? I think a jab would have dazed him out.
Well, Crawford stopped Khan, the guy you want to fight.
He should, and Khan quit. More than Crawford stopped him. But correct. He stopped Khan, and I believe I would do the same. He doesn't like the right hand. It comes from a way that it's hard for him to see. That's my jab.
What about Kell Brook?
Yes, sir. I definitely would have stopped Kell Brook.
Kell Brook?
Yes, sir.
Kell Brook pretty tough, man.
I
don't even know what to say. He's only got 3 losses. They're all 3 great fighters. But, wear and tear, I guess. I don't know. You think he comes back? You think he makes a comeback? Or you think that was the last one for him?
I don't know. I think he'll come back for the Khan fight. I know Khan was saying that he wants Brook before he retires. I think Kell will come back for that.
All right, well, let me get to these people's questions. Scott, the Christian Fight Fan, says, what's up, champ? Would you take the smoke with Jaron Boots Ennis? You kind of answered that and said, hell yeah. Lid's Low Indicator Georgia says, how's it going, Warrior? What goal do you want to accomplish in the welterweight division? Always good to see you get in the ring and swing, Warrior.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to be a world champion. 2-time, 2-weight world champion sounds like, some legend-ish. Yes. I know people have done it before, but for me, that would be a huge accomplishment.
Big Cash.
I was world champion the first time, so to do it again when I'm not supposed to is kind of that'd be all I need.
Yeah. Big Casual says, what's up, champ? Do you think a dominant win over Amir Khan will help you get you a title shot at 147? If you had an opportunity to pick which champ you could fight next at 147, which would you want to crack at first? Ugas, Spence, or Bud?
I do think if a dominating win over Amir Khan would jump me into a championship style fight. And if I had a choice to pick, oh man, I'll just go straight to Bud. It's just ain't no half stepping. Why even no shade to Ugas. He's a tough fight, tough champion. I think Spencer Ugas is probably gonna be made next, so Spence can collect all the belts. But I'll just go straight to Bud, and then then Spence will be wanting to fight me.
Why Bud though? Like, is this something you think you can? Is it just to get? Because that fight will drive Earl to you, or because
that'll drive.
Exactly.
I take Bud, right, which will be a big fight in itself, and then I'm set up for the biggest fight in the welterweight game. And then it's just like, ain't nobody talking about Bud no more. It's like, oh snap, Trout. We was sleeping on him, but the guy that beat Cotto, that guy that took Canelo for all his money, and he's out here about to make a huge fight with Spence. I think it'd be big. I think it'd be bigger than Crawford and Spence, because right now that's just a fantasy. We just want to see what Crawford could do against an elite active fighter.
That is definitely what I want to see, bro. We got David Maldonado, New York City. What's up, champ? You've been in with everyone, so my question to you is, can you rank these fighters in your specific order, being that you faced each of them? Canelo, both Charlos, Lara, and Hurd.
Rank is the hardest. So out of all those fighters, the hardest fight for me was Lara. To keep it a buck, I never wanted a fight to be over so bad. All those other fights, I wanted one more round. You know what I mean? It's like, man, if I just had another round, But the Lara fight, I'm like, man, what round is
it? Why? You gotta explain that, man.
He had an answer for. I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't get anything going. It was just a boring fight. He kept catching with that left hand. I started getting desperate and just trying to force it. It was he had me beat mentally, and then physically I couldn't force anything to go. It was just one of the longest fights I've ever been in, man. Frustrating, aggravating, definitely. I've never been dominated mentally like that before. With the Hurd fight, so Lara being number one, Canelo definitely was the biggest fight. And Canelo, just keeping it a buck, he wasn't as good when I fought him as he is now. Like, he's gotten a whole bunch better. So as far as the best fight I fought, Canelo is now the best fight. It wasn't the best one I fought, I'd say. Then it would go to Jamel, Charlo. I mean, he dropped me twice, but I was definitely in there. Then Hurd, and then Jamal Charlo.
All right. Ian Brooks says, thanks for being on the show. Big fan from Las Cruces here. On your last pay-per-view card, there was a great-looking fighter, Brandon Wright, who lists you as his advisor. Can you tell us about advising young fighters and what advice you wish you had been given back when you started?
Absolutely. Brandon White, La Sombra, the great white shark. He's a 112 pounder, but he's been fighting 118, 122 because it's hard to find grown men that weigh 112 pounds.
Say it again. They called me ignorant the other day because I said, "Oh, why you don't watch the?" It's like, bro, like they not average. They not average size men. It's no disrespect, but they got two jobs. That division or being a jockey on a horse. Like, I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying? Like, no disrespect though. They tougher than me. They get in there, but it's just like it's different. It's different.
Yeah, but he's definitely a freak of nature. The kid is tall. He's like 5'9", got a long wingspan. He could crack. He could, he's fast. Definitely can't wait to get him really get his numbers up so we can take him to, the Asian countries and get him a title shot quick. Yes. My biggest advice that I would wish somebody would give me would be, I would say perfect your craft, but that's kind of advice that I always took and did myself. I say probably the financial freedom. Like, every dollar that you make in the boxing ring, make that dollar work for you. It's blood money. Your blood runs out, and so will that blood money. You know what I'm saying? And if I had put some of these things away earlier instead of later, you know what I mean, I'd be super straight instead of just kind of straight.
I gotta ask, man, because when I met you, you was already married. So like, oh shit, he dropped all that damn Las Cruces internet. There he goes. You're back. I was already cursing your internet out.
I know he's talking about time, man.
I gotta ask because like when I met you was already married, so I'm like now I'm like you got me a little bit shocked like as to what did you make a bad investment like what, because you know usually guys that spend their money early is because they still partying. I thought you was already married, right?
Yeah, no, I didn't make a bad investment, nor did my wife let me just blow all the money. Just instead of putting that money to work, we just let it sit there. You know what I mean? It just sat in the bank because I was like, oh well, I'm just gonna let it sit there and save it, you know, until something comes along. And instead of me going to find something to make it work for me, it just sat there, and it never doubled up, never tripled up, never nothing. It just sat there. You know, you get your 0.01%. That's nothing. You know what I mean? I should have thrown it all in my retirement until I knew what to do.
I gotta ask again because we hear so many rumors that Al sets his guys up. Like you didn't get no financial advice, no like investment tip, like, or you just chose not to take it.
No. I didn't. Not for me.
What the freak?
Not for me. I didn't get that service.
Yo, Trout, man, I feel like I need to ask what happened. Like, you kind of on the outside looking in of a team that you
was a part of.
Nah, help build, brother. Like, come on, like you helped build that. Like Al's first fight is you know, like Berto and you know, he helped I think Layman Brewster, but like after the departure from HBO, you know, it was all you guys. Like it's off the. I mean, you don't give. Look at all the names you gave an opportunity. You gave Hurd and both the Charlos an opportunity. I could say Laura gave you the opportunity. That was a little backwards, you know. But I think you've already showed that you're a team player. I'm kind of mad you on the outside, bruh.
Yeah, bro, and I want to be mad about it too, but that's not gonna do anything for me. If I start getting upset about the way it is and the way it should be, I'll be too focused on that instead of trying to focus on how I'm gonna get myself. I don't want to say out of this hole. I'm not in a hole. I need a good fight, and I need a good network to give me the good fight. So like instead of focusing on what should be and what could be, I'm just focused on what it is and where I am.
We got to try and work this UK market, man. Conor Ben, he's the new thing,
Conor
right?
Ben, let's go. There was a Sam Eggington that they were gonna, let me beat up to get my name up.
Josh Kelly,
fight you, Cheeseman. I go look at you. I gotta look at your film, but I'll fight you, Cheeseman. I'm trying to travel, take it back to going to people's hometowns and beat them up like that.
You're gonna have to do your best Winky Wright impression, man. He took his game on the road and he was forced, he forced noticeability on him. But we got a few more. Coach Myers in Connecticut. Good morning, champ. Who's your toughest fight in the pros? Who was the best skilled fighter you fought in the pros? You kind of just answered that.
Laura.
All right, Laura. James Benitez. This isn't James from San Antonio, but this is James. Back call James. Says, campaigning at 147, I look at you as living legend. Over the past weeks, we've been talking about potential opponents we would like to see you fight. Champ, how you feel about Castillo Clayton fight? He's available and it's a name that'll put you in title contention quick. We talked about that with Sergey Lipinets.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
Both free agents, let's make it happen. Castillo, actually, my co-host is, I'm drawing a blank. Francis from Canada. Contact your Canadian. Contact your Canadian brethren. We got Steve in the UK says, hey, champ, thanks for coming on the show. What keeps you motivated to keep fighting at your age? Are you solely motivated by money? And do you have an exit strategy in mind for when you're finally scratched that boxing itch? Thanks for coming on the show, Steve in the UK.
Good question. It's not money that's motivating. It's legacy. I want to be put down as a, if not the great, a great. I want them to go back and say, look at Trout's record and look at who he fought and how he fought him, and nothing was given easy to him, but he made the best out of what he was given. So it's really for legacy purposes. The money, I feel like I was saying, I'm just trying to stay active. You know what I mean? So the money will come as long as I can just stay active and get the right fights. The money will come, but more so, I want to be a great of our time, if at the least. You know what I mean? And I think a 2-time world champion in 2 weight divisions will help me lock that in.
Definitely. Dumi, can you get that last one? It's from Victor Banuelos.
I got you, champ. Victor Banuelo says, "What's up, champ? I think fighters like yourself deserve more respect and recognition. You've been in there with absolutely everybody. Yes. My question is, who hits harder, Canelo or Jamal? Who do you think wins that fight? Respect, champ."
Canelo. I said Canelo hits harder. He was the first person to drop me. Jamal never dropped me. I'm not saying that Jamal wasn't strong. He was. I tried to push him around in there, and he was pretty solid. But Canelo, I think he's more. His punches were more explosive. Jamal is more of like that football strength. He could pick you up and tackle you if he wanted to. But Canelo had that explosive power, and that's. I think that was the difference.
How do you think that fight plays out? Because everybody thinks Canelo's ducking Charlo. Do you think Canelo's ducking Jamal and even Jermell Charlo? Because there's an argument that he was at 54 when they were at 54.
I don't know if I was to call it ducking either Charlo. From what I understand, that there was an offer for Jamal to fight Canelo. That wasn't taken from the Charlo camp. And with saying that, it's very misleading because they could have gave Jamal a shit offer. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Something that's way beneath him. I don't know what the details of the offer, but I know that there was an offer made that they didn't come to agreement with. The only reason why I know is because Mel let that be known.
So yeah, you only know that because of Jamel. So I'm asking you this next question, probing but not expecting you to have an answer. And if you don't want to give your opinion, totally cool as well. Jamal was on the Last Stand podcast with Brian Custer, and they talked about some of those offers from Eddie to Jamal for Andre, not for Canelo. And it's a $7 million offer allegedly, and Charlo brushed it off and said, $7 million, we getting that. Do you think Charlo is making $7 million? And do you think forget
boxing? He might be making millions off his I don't want to call it side hustle, but his side businesses or the businesses outside of boxing. But he ain't making no $7 million purse. Not from boxing.
And do you think a $7 million purse for Jamal Charlo to unify with Demetrius Andrade is a fair offer?
Absolutely. I believe so. But again, I was once on that level and not on that level right now. Not yet. But I believe that's a fair offer for a unification fight.
Now let me ask you.
Andrade, no one wants to fight Andrade because he's he takes so many layoffs and he is a name, but he's a name that kind of like my man Gary out of Baltimore. He's a good name, but you only gonna see him once every 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that fight though, Jamal's the bigger name, in my opinion.
With Andre.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you, keep that in mind. You think that that's a reasonable offer. Do you think that a guy like Jamal is looking at it like, well, DAZN just gave Mikey $7 million to fight Vargas off of a loss, if not a really beat down to Earl, I got to shake the tree.
Yeah, that's probably it then, because I wasn't aware of those numbers. And if they're giving Mikey Garcia $7 million to fight, the Vargas, then they can definitely give Charlo 10.
Yo, Kovalev got 14 for Canelo.
See, there you go. There you go.
Yo,
If that's the
14
case,
million
then
to
yeah.
fight
14
Canelo.
for the belt, man. 14 for the belt.
Charlo is smart, and he's correct for holding out and not just taking the $7 million. My black ass would taking that $7 million real quick. But he's smart for holding out because they are giving more in. If they gonna give Kovalev 14, Jamal is worth 2 times more than Kovalev right now.
I agree, man. I agree. I think there's some other purses out there that I use in comparison. I can't think of it right now. Help me if you guys remember, but there's a few guys, man, that made a lot of money and that wasn't even a unification. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I know Dazn was throwing out a lot of money in the beginning, and it may not be so now, but for a fight like Andrade and Charlo, you're gonna have to open up that book. Especially because your fighter, Andrade, don't want to fight so much. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if he's holding out for a bigger payday, but I don't believe he deserves it. I believe Jamal does.
Why don't you think Andre deserves it? Certain fraction of boxing fans like to believe that Andre is being blackballed, that he can't get the big fights, that people are ducking Demetrius Andre.
I don't know how true that is. And if there's anybody doing any blackballing, it's because of the way he dealt with Rock Nation and his other promoter, the way he handled all that.
Banner Promotions and Artie Palulo and the Rock Nation deal.
Yeah.
Yep.
The way he did that was lightweight foul. But I don't know if anybody's ducking him or it's like, well, is he a big enough name? He's a good fighter, but he don't fight enough. So he's not even really that big enough name for anybody to take the chance for him. That's kind of my thing. Think about tell me who has Andrade fought?
Willie Nelson. He's got a few. Vanes Martirosyan, Willie Nelson.
How many years ago was that Vanes Martirosyan fight?
Huh?
I said, how many years ago was that Vanes?
Oh, no. It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
It was back when Vanes was a name. Vanes ain't been a name in a long time. You know what I mean? So, like, he says he wants all the big fights and the tough fights, but I have yet to see any real fight being handled. And if he's got the zone behind him that's offering millions like that, there should be somebody that's ready to fight Andrade.
So, Mr. Trout, I want to know, why wouldn't somebody just step up and take his belt? He got a belt. Just take the strap. If it's that sweet, if he wanted to step up and take the belt.
He ain't never say it was easy.
Out the way.
It's not easy. Andrade's a good fighter. He's more risk than he is reward.
Yeah.
The belt ain't worth taking a risk against. And I'm not saying a no name because he is a name, but he's not.
Shit. Yo, Trout, those are all our questions, man. Thank you so much.
Hold on, Mr. Trout. I gotta ask you a few questions, just some few lighthearted questions before we get you up out of here. First of all, I want to thank you very much, for supporting our Border Wars event. We sending out some shirts. I was reaching out to you. I really appreciate that. All up to you. My first question I gotta ask you is, when you are running or doing your conditioning work, what type of music are you listening to?
It's funny, man, because like I'm listening. My playlist is so all over the place. Like I'll be sitting and listening to, of course, DMX has been on my playlist. Rest in peace to his dog. Heavy while running, because the energy that he's always provoked with his music was great, and now that he's gone, I just want to really just tune into him. But then after you get some DMX, you might get some making my way downtown, walking. Well, let it ride, though. Let it ride. I've been listening to a lot of YouTubes, a lot of reading. Been listening to books, audibles while I'm running, trying to get my mind right. That's what I've been doing a lot lately, though. Has been listening to books while running.
And does that music change pre-fight, like before you walk out the locker room, before your ring walk?
Oh yeah.
The song that you listen to before you leave the locker room.
Yeah, we can't be listening to Sarah Bareilles while we're about to get in the fight. Yeah, We
So
definitely got to keep the energy up. You know, we got to be on that kind of warrior kill mode. So our music will reflect it.
Love it. Next question I got to ask you, and I only got 2 left, is what is your pre-fight meal? And what is your post-fight guilty pleasure? Like, I got to have it when I get out the ring.
So the pre-fight meal, I like to do pasta. Get the complex carbs with just like marinara sauce, nothing too heavy, not much cheese. And then that post-fight meal, man, it's got to be deep fried and smothered in chocolate. That's basically like a chimichanga. A chocolate chimichanga would be perfect for me.
I love it. My final one I got to ask you is, if you were a superhero, what would be your superhero power? And you only get one.
Oh, you only get one? I was about to say, I've thought about this for a long time. But I only get one.
Only get one.
That's not fair.
Superman got more than
All
one.
right, give me two.
I'll tell you what my top 3 would be.
Beautiful.
And then you could just tell me which 2 I get to keep.
All right.
So, 1, I would love to talk to animals.
Okay, so like Aquaman, but more for all animals.
All animals.
Dr.
But then the second one was I would love to breathe underwater like Aquaman, right? So then you can talk to animals and whatnot, breathe on. And the last one would be fly. So like I could go land, air, and water, and then holler at all the animals. You know what I mean? The birds or the fish.
Damn, that's some dope
Yeah.
powers.
Wait, ain't that Captain Planet? Wait, ain't that Captain Planet though?
I don't know. Captain Planet, he's a hero.
Yeah.
Down to 0.
I think you just described Captain Planet, but Austin, man, we got one late question coming in from G the Don Boxing says, "What up, champ? What about a shot at Virgil Ortiz Jr.? Oscar would try to make that fight for Ortiz, and with a win over him, that would get your name back in title talk. That would be a good fight. Actually, he's number 1 for the WBO. I mean, right now, Porter is the mandatory, but next up is, young Virgil.
I would love to take that fight. And Oscar is dumb enough to make that fight happen, I think.
Dumb enough? So you think, that kid's a big puncher, man.
He's a big puncher for a welterweight.
Oh, so you think because you coming down, they can't hurt you?
Well, I'm not saying they can't, and I'm going to make sure I don't get caught, but do you think he's a bigger puncher than Charlo? Name either one?
But you fought Charlo with 10s, not 8s.
That's true, but still, that means I get 8s too.
But you ain't been a puncher, Trout. You ain't known as a puncher. You ain't. I mean, I hope that changes though. I hope it changes. Wait, something wrong with the audio. Check what's going on. Like it sound a little far.
Test. Better.
Nope. Something definitely happened. I mean, but it's all right because that was the last question anyway. Can you?
I feel like in Virgil's. Let's talk about the style. Virgil Ortiz's style. I feel like it's perfect for mine. Whether I'm a puncher or not, he's gonna have to catch me. And that peekaboo shell up style, I'll be able to eat that up with my feet.
Oh man, well I hope Oscar listens. We about to tag him. Make sure we already tweeted to Eddie, let him know that you willing to give Conor Ben a lesson. Don't forget to retweet that, and we gonna generate one for Oscar. Let him know that you're ready to spank Virgil as well. We behind you. You already know, man. Austin Trout 147. Let's go. We want a title shot, man. Thank you for coming on the show, Austin. Please give out your social media if anybody crazy enough not to be following you. And we definitely hope that you are able to achieve those legacy goals you got.
Yeah, follow me at No Doubt Trout on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at No Doubt Trout.
Thank you, champ. All right, ladies and gentlemen,
Let's
there you
go,
have
champ.
it.
Show me.
Austin, No Doubt Trout, former world champion, chasing that greatness.
If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, from title, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.